I'm smoking in my room again for no reason, because that's all I do is smoke cigarettes. And, cigars every once in a while, too. Um, alright, oh man, it's been a fun, wonderful couple of smoothie doobs, you know? And, man, there's like a bunch of stuff that I need to, like, get off my chest as far as my experiences go. And let's see if I can move that camera up a little bit. There we go. All right, wait. All right. So I'm gonna play the story mode because I'm staying on story mode right now for some reason, because my main menu won't allow me to go to it, even though it usually allows it to do that. I guess it probably tells me that I need to finish some stuff online on my story mode in order to further my what's the word? Motives online. All right, so like a part of me kind of like a part of me kind of like stumbled onto this, I guess, and it's more like have you ever heard of the word vigilante, I guess? And I don't know, I can steal this car. Has anyone ever heard of the word vigilante? Taking the law into your own hands and dealing with it appropriately. There have been a lot of like brush-ins with what I've seen is
Bitch ass bullshit. What the fuck?
brush-ins with the law, I guess, with certain groups of what's the word, churchgoers, I guess, or not churchgoers, but sometimes priests themselves, and nuns as well. I've noticed that a lot, and I think it's like, because I try to see the big picture, you know, like what does it entail, or what does it mean for the bigger picture. And I've noticed that like a lot of times these kind of cases they usually work their way into nothingness sometimes because of either I think what they do or because of their standing in society. And I'm not like ranking on what they do or anything like that, because if they're actually working undercover with some sort of SWAT team and or NSA or some sort of secret thing, but if they're doing it on their own, it's really dangerous. Really dangerous, because I mean, my dad told me about the couple of things that he usually did. Not more than a couple, but my dad told me about the late nights on Bourbon Street and stuff like that, and on the fact that he was like they were either looking for someone or looking out for someone, and I'm not exactly sure working for who, but he's he kind of probably got his career ruined at some point, or he took the wrong job or something like that, I guess. I think it has a lot to do with your standards as far as things go. Let me turn this down. Get my phone. I would say it has a lot to do with your standards. My dad had pretty low standards sometimes because he had a pretty low standing with what my dad had a pretty low standing with what he thought of the whole human race. And he kind of tried to instill that in me, my skepticism, I guess, that I have already. And I'm not really skeptical, but I'm more along the lines of I believe what I believe until I don't believe it anymore. And I like some of the places that they give information to for phone calls and stuff like that is pretty sketchy, and it's pretty sketchy because of all the places that I've like recently got like random phone calls from because of me signing up for these contest things. Because I signed up for a few contests and stuff like that. Maybe like a little bit more than a few, but I think that a lot of them are working under the guise of just trying to record your voice. Like because a lot of them are asking me to say yes to things, and basically like, oh, can you hear me okay? Like yes or no questions basically, and that's like the whole thing, I guess, is they use that information to be able to be training and recording, but then someone decides they're going to use that to try to buy a car or to try to buy a thing, and it's not protectable, I guess, against a certain thing. And I think that that's the reason why they have so many of those, what's the word, I mean, but if you think about it, though, there's a lot of people out there that do really stupid things and deserve to get their money taken from them because they say they do all legal things and they demand privacy, but then that privacy is slowly but surely chipped away at because of the stupid and illicit things they usually do to people when they're not looking or when other people aren't looking. And now I'm gonna go into what my relationship was. I got angry sometimes at my ex. She would lie to me. She lied to me basically. The first part about a relationship, she lied to me. I stayed with her because I guess I was running from kind of not everything. I was running from family, I guess, and not my family, but a family for me to have, and I thought that if someone had their family made already, I wouldn't have to go through what it is to freaking I don't know, man. Just like it sounds like I'm a closet something or a closet homosexual, but I'm not. And I'm only isolated because I kind of wanted to study this. And I was isolated because I kind of wanted to study her. Because she initially was very inviting for some reason. And then she kind of backed off as soon as the allegations against me happened. The allegations of me going to jail for something I didn't do and all that other different stuff. And Mississippi charging me with something that I didn't do, and my eventual suing thing for wrongful imprisonment, and the fact that they didn't go into any fake things or any anything at all. It kind of gets to me sometimes to where the corruption can be kind of pushed, and then so I'm a city slicker boy. That's all I am. I never started a ranch. I never started a ranch. There wasn't a ranch anywhere. Never been on a ranch in my life. Never worked on a farm. Never used my hands to create or do things. Now, granted, that was a lot of things that I used my hands with. Granted, I only worked with people who were less than honorable sometimes because they had drug problems, I guess. And I mean, it would make it seem like I actually had a drug problem as well. But I don't. I never did, because then I realized how very misinformed my dad was about a lot of things. How very kept out of the loop he was on a lot of things sometimes, and how I didn't see things like him. And I think that's what he saw in me. I guess, and the reason why he instilled that or tried to mess with me by telling me a bunch of lies, who knows? Who knows? The reason why I take my dad's saying with a pound of salt is because he's told me things that are less than savory about him, and the things that he said are stupid. He's a dumb idiot, and I don't know. Like I guess he thinks that somehow I'll still respect him, I guess, or a thing like that, even though if I find out something that he did or said, I think that I'll find out that he has like kids all over the country, because my dad did a lot of sex, and he tells me about it all the time. He told me about it a lot, the amount of times he had sex. The amount of times he literally had sex, and he has so many children. No, he doesn't have so many children. I don't know, but my dad's been telling me things, and I'm very questionable about it, because I love my dad, but I also hate my dad because he says things that are very complicated and very confusing sometimes. So I put on this facade in Mississippi because my dad didn't know anyone there. He said he knew people. He said he knew people and help them and stuff like that. I put on this facade of the stupid security guard, the stupid guy who was just stupid, and that's it. I put on this facade of where I would just go around and try to get with girls and see if they were like me and stuff like that, and that was good. It wasn't really a facade. It was more like a blanket of, like, I'm more of this person and I wasn't that person, kind of. I was like, I really, really was attracted to the women there, but I wasn't attracted to their bullshit. I wasn't attracted to the amount of times they lied to me. I wasn't attracted to the amount of times they acted like they were doing something when really they were doing something else. And it seemed kind of like the theme of things, you know, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I thought that somehow, some of the women were telling the truth, but it's usually the girls that don't hang out at bars. And I didn't want that kind of girl for obviously reasons, because I kind of just wanted to see what bullshit was going on, you know, like what kind of people were just kind of running amok and stuff. I don't know. And what I found was there are a lot of people who are in other parts of the country that think that Mississippi is dumb in any way, or Mississippi is stupid. I mean, they may be last in school, but like, there's a lot of things that people don't know about them that they keep and hide, because that's kind of like, it's kind of like a whole generation of people who went to war kind of think, and the generation that happened after that kind of thought that was the simplest way of living. It's like when you see a dude who came from a slightly racist background, but he's not racist himself, but he continues to joke about race, even though sometimes it's insensitive to people. You know? It's like it's just a learned behavior, basically. A learned behavior inside of a vacuum, basically, of people who kind of, like, I don't know, I don't know how to say it. I guess I know what it is, obviously, but yeah, backflip. Yes. Slid down perfectly. But wow. I'm getting hacked again, guys. Jeez.
The most politically correct news source of all time. Let's sigh. I wasn't planning to
I'm
make
getting hacked again.
news so soon. Don't worry.
No, my computer is messed up because I dropped it so many times.
We'll be back very soon.
It's okay though.
News. Breaking news! Breaking news! Breaking news! Breaking news! Wall Street Journal did an oopsie!
Oh, I didn't even put it on this.
Wall Street...
There we go. Must just did something in the history. Alright, so I know Sean likes to fuck with me. My stepbrother, who threw a fork at my head when I was 15 because he thought that I was going to try to eat him because he's a crazy person. But I know that, and see, there are a lot of times, and I guess maybe he was hurt when he was a child or something like that, or maybe even like molested, you know? Who knows? It's possible. There are a lot of weird freaks in a lot of places, not just Mississippi or Louisiana. Only because I think there's... Oh, son of a bitch. Only because... Okay, back to this thing that I was investigating, kind of, after a while of thinking about it. I noticed that the people that called me were just from certain regions. But they may be telemarketers, or they may be people with just phones that bought information on someone and just wants to annoy the shit out of them. Because there are a lot of people out there that kind of just are support sometimes when it comes to people who are shitty. And I guess I'm supposed to be in that category, but I'm not. But I'm not. I'm not in that category because there are a lot of different reasons why I would seem like a good person, and I know I'm a good person. And also, I know that I don't make a lot of mistakes. A lot of people think I make a lot of mistakes, but I like to figure out what kind of bullshit is around me, so I like to act as aloof as possible. It's the reason why I became an antisocial, because I realized how many people have so much bullshit around them. Have so much shit that they constantly spew onto people, and had this thing of it's what is it called? Acting. They act, kind of, to put on this facade of a, they act and put on this facade that they're just this innocent person. And I was just here, and I was trying to be a wife to him, and he was just being so mean. And it was always that way because we never communicated, and it was partly my fault. I don't want to be the victim here, but I digress. That probably was the thing that I heard pretty much in the time she put me into the mental hospital, and for 30 days. Even though I had barely taken, I had barely taken any medication since the entire time we had been together. I was on one medication almost the entire time we were together. Almost, pretty much, because in the hospital they tried out different medications on me to see if they would work, and none of them worked because they only worked them for a week, and then I got switched around to 15 different times to different hospitals. About 3 or 4 days at a time. First time I went to the hospital, though, it was 72-hour hold, and the fact of the matter is I cried because I didn't want to be at the hospital, because I didn't want to go to the hospital, because it was stupid, and not because I thought that anything was going to be anything of anything that I went through or anything like that, but it's the place that I kind of wound up at, you know, and My younger brother suggested something to me that I will never forget. And maybe, you know what? I'm not going to say it because But let's get back to what I was investigating before. So, I know I'm a good person. I know I don't hit women. I know some people think I do, but they're stupid and they're dumb, and when they realize that I don't, they'll shit their pants. Alright. They're not going to, but they'll, figuratively speaking, they will be very amazed at what I'm actually saying. There are a lot of different people that pick and choose different battles to do, and I think that I got this whole thing down to at least a scoreboard. I think what they do with your information when you sign up for contests or things like that is they send it to the highest bidder, and the highest bidder is usually the same regions, I guess, that are either cold, what's the word, cold, really warm for no reason, or maybe like 5 different places that I think is kind of the reason why that I'm not going through anything, but I'm just, the reason why I was kind of investigating on what this thing happens to be is these contests, they give their information to pretty much anyone who they please. They was like, this is only for the contest rules, we won't sell your personal information. It's like, yeah, your personal information, but like where you might live, and this personal information is in parentheses and probably quotation marks at the same time. Alright, we're gonna slow down for a minute because I need to check myself before I indubitably wreck myself. Here we go. Alright, so there are a bunch of people, I guess, that basically hold in hubs of information. Hold the hubs of information of things that you find out from your Facebook page to what you do for a living, because they won't take out your personal information, but emails usually don't usually count as personal information because they're technically something that you don't actually have to give the what's the word, and sometimes phone numbers, they'll hint at them, or they'll just take those random phone numbers, not give the names, and then give them out to, that's it right there. That's kind of a breach of privacy in a certain sense, and I usually don't think about the breach of privacy, but I usually try to mess with them as much as possible and try to say as much no as I possibly can. But most of the time when I'm actually thinking about this stuff, when I'm thinking about this stuff is yeah, I'm doing pretty well right now. Yeah. Here we go. We're gonna jump this. My motorcycle, no. Okay, so this is what they do. They sell your information free from your name, free from anything like that, but they give you hints. They give people hints and stuff like that. Like they give you the first letter of their name plus their last name. Yeah. So they give you like the first letter name from the last name, and then I'm just agreeing with myself because I care so much. Anyways, the first letter of your name and your last name. So there's this dude that calls, and his name is something Tanner, maybe. Yeah, Tanner. And he says, "Oh, I am Tanner. Is Carolyn there?" And I'm like, "Carolyn's not here, obviously. I mean, Carolyn was my ex-stepmom, but my ex mother-in-law." But no, Carolyn's not here. He's like, well, if Carolyn isn't here, can you help me, sir? I would just be like, well, now, no, not at all. Go away. But, there are a lot of times, though, that they kind of get the nose on the head and you almost say yes. Or the closest I've ever coming to say, because I'm actually in the middle of a conversation, I'll answer it, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll be like, oh, okay, dude, all right, cool. And then I'll be like, hi, my name's Thing, I'm on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay? And I'll say, yeah, ooh, you son of a bitch. It's funny as hell. But, I've noticed that there are about 4 or 5 different companies, I guess, that do this, because I did some backtracking, and those companies are basically in either either really cold places or like Ontario, I think, called me too. So yeah, really cold places. And Moose. But a lot of times people think that I'm someone that I'm not, so I don't give a shit. Or they think that somehow I'm like saying words that people don't freaking hear, because I see people around me sometimes that make those weird faces like oh, you heard all these things and stuff like that, all these stuff, and this is the funny part about like what my ex-wife tried to do to me. She tried to make me look like a fool in front of everyone. She tried to make me look like a fucking idiot so she could break up with me. But she wanted to ruin someone's life. That was her basic thing. She wanted to ruin someone's life like her life got ruined. Because she needed therapy and she didn't know it. Understandably so, she's very stupid, and I still like her, but I don't love her. I don't love her anymore. Yeah, I got a motorcycle.
Citizens reporting 480 west of Gentry Manor Hotel.
Here we go, fast motorcycle. I need to go do some stuff, I think. I need to get more money, I think, too. So I'm gonna go pick up some fares, I guess. You can't see my face through the smoke. Smoke screen. Oh yeah, and also she fucked every dude in that band that I heard. I don't really care. I didn't really care about that part. I really didn't. But she probably tried to make it a point that she was totally on their dick by going to the same bar every single night for an eternity. She wanted to be depressed out of her mind, and she wound up hurting her teeth the last time I saw her. She had all of her or whatever, and then she probably did a bunch of stupid shit because she's stupid.
Suspect doing 90 miles per hour on
But
Vinewood Boulevard.
it just makes me look like an idiot, I guess.
Downtown Vinewood.
But yeah, she fucked all those dudes. She fucked every single one of those dudes. I mean, she was a bit of a groupie. She had sex with a lot of dudes. Guys, I can't do this. I gotta go. Okay, I'll see you later.
Roger that.
But I think that it really didn't matter to me. Like if they got that, like it really didn't matter. Like I was like she told me about it, kind of. She told me about some of it, not all of it, because she wanted to keep that whole allure of like I'm the best lover she's ever had, even though she had sex with like one dude one time and she totally came and she couldn't even feel it or whatever, some sort of dumb shit or something, because she likes drugs, or maybe one of her friends got her into it or something like that. I think that what she really needed was a complete relationship, not someone who tries to control her or someone who tries to do anything to her. Maybe she's a lesbian now. Who knows? She could be. Who knows? Or maybe she's a closet lesbian. Maybe she was a closet lesbian the whole time and she just used me for looks, and when she wanted to get rid of me, I was just a pawn, I guess, in some of her games, I guess. I don't know. But in any case, she's a pathological liar in the first place. So it's like, yeah. I think the Mississippi, out of there's like the whole state, probably got together and said, this dude is really biting down hard. And she is not giving him anything. But I think the moral of this story is a lot of different companies that try to get your information, they try to act and sound like the people who are in your life, or the people who were in your life, or people that you trust, or people that you know about, or people that you've ever heard of, because they look back in your background check. They spent that $32 to look in your background check, to check J. Rodriguez upon anything, and they keep calling all the J. Rodriguez's, and so they eventually come to your name, and you think it's destined sometimes, but then you're like, why are they calling me? It's because it's just that time of day where they call you. They call those J. Rodriguez's, and it happens. So it's not like it's supposed to happen, or it's not like it's supposed to happen, but it happens, and I think that a lot of times people use this information. They have this information. They use it for law enforcement sometimes as well, and there are a lot of times where people themselves will just give away everything in a certain conversation they have sometimes, and there's a lot of people that know about a lot of different people in the New Orleans area. Like there's like so many dudes out there that are actually undercover cops that no one knows about, and I think until they actually do like take someone in, and they try to be as plain as possible. So like just remember that part, I guess, when you're like embezzling money or doing something stupid or trying to run a club through drugs, you know, stuff like that. There are a lot of times where people themselves, they think that they own the city or something like that because they know somebody or something like that. Well, I just want to like put this out there, like no one owns the city. The city is an idea, all right? It stays an idea, all right? Just a bunch of ideas. There's no borders. Like actually, there's like signs and stuff. They're just ideas. They're not all set in stone. We can move the districts. We can do that if we want to. Everyone thinks that like, oh my God, like if like it's all gonna change. Like yeah, eventually it will. California will get smaller. Other states will get bigger. A lot of other places will get bigger. Things will get smaller. Sometimes, you never know. It's a state. You know, it happens all the time. The cartographers are fucking terrible at this. They're so terrible at America. And that's the reason why. Because it costs so much money to draw those lines. You know what I think America was so pissed off about the rest of the world? Is they wanted so much money to do everything. They wanted absolutely a bunch of money to do everything and have 32 years of experience, man. Just like, okay, I believe in my heart of hearts that vampires themselves are actually jokes. Technically speaking, if you think about feeding off of another human being, you'll have to revert back to childhood to actually do it, like, what is it, like, revert back to being a child in order to do it like what's the word, like, and which is completely impossible. Really, really, really impossible. No matter how much you try to feed people the wrong food or try to, I mean, you can get like a couple inches difference. Like, I'm 5'11" on a bad day, probably. But I'm about 6'1.5" on a good day, because when I crack my back and like move my muscles around and stuff like that, get all loosey-goosey and stuff, or meditate, like lying down and realize that the bed that I'm laying on is probably not that great for my back, except for this one. Mine's good. Bought this one. It's really tight. It's a I think it's a Sealy. And I got that bed protector on there too. And I'm gonna wash it as well. Let me wash it because I got a bunch of paint stains on my top sheet that I have to wash as well. Hopefully I didn't get any oil paint on there because it's not gonna come out. But in any case, that's what people like to do. That want information, that want to figure out you and then use you to their advantage. No matter what they are, no matter who they are, no matter how they're around, I like to stay around sometimes and see them and study them and understand exactly the reasons why I don't want to trust them. Exactly the reasons why I don't feel like being around them. Exactly the reasons why I don't feel like drinking with them if they're going to talk about stupid shit. Because stupid shit is stupid shit. It's like, yeah, man, I got this band, bro. We're gonna fucking go. And I'm just like, what? Oh my god, it's so crazy. My friend has a band too, and he almost got signed. But then his guitarist left. So damn it. That happens. Bullshit happens. It's not like it's completely the end of the world, but like, also understand that the reason why some people like stay and leave in your life. I mean, it's like this. Some people use you. Some people abuse you. And some people want to be abused. It just depends on what part of their life they're in. Some people want to use you, but for good reasons sometimes. Because they feel like being, what's the word? In control. They want to feel like they have something on someone. And if you're okay with that, then be that. But understand also that as soon as that person doesn't get what they want out of you, sometimes they'll be gone in an instant. And sometimes they'll be gone when you least expect it. When you think that you have them wrapped around your finger. Like when the girl who I thought I loved, my ex-wife, decided to tell me that it wasn't going to work out and I was going to have to go back. I had a mental breakdown. But unfortunately for her, that mental breakdown involved me walking off of her property and completely and utterly leaving her stranded. Kind of in a relationship. But she wanted to freak out about it and go to another dude's arms. She wanted to freak out about it and go to another dude's arms that she'd been talking to for about a month. And also probably sucking his dick. But I don't care. I had sex with her last night. We actually were together. So it was hilarious. And guess what? She's probably using that guy too. Who cares though, right? So realize, people use other people because the place they are in their lives is very detrimental to their health. It's extremely hard for them to be able to open up to people because they feel as though when they open up to people, they have to shut that door immediately or else something bad will get in. Understandably so, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what to do with themselves when it comes to a real-life social situation. And most of the time, you're not going to get anything out of them because all they do is come up with lie after lie after lie. And that's the reason why I think my dad thought I was crazy. My dad thought I was stupid. My dad thought she was just a face and she was just like a personality. That was it. Like I was in love with her. No. I just wanted to see how much bullshit she wanted to hand me. I realized she had enough. I realized she had enough bullshit. And I was having sex every night. Most of the time when I wasn't in the hospital. Then she just really didn't understand that I gave a fuck. But if she didn't want to be there for me, then I was going to give a fuck about somebody else. The real reason why anyone goes into a relationship is because they want to share something with someone. And the real reason is probably if she would have been in a better mindset or in a better place in her life, it would have probably worked out. But it didn't. And that's the reason why I don't like Mississippi sometimes. I don't like the people there sometimes because they can be detrimental. Or at least the ones that you actually talk to sometimes. Or the people you really want to talk to are probably just huddled up somewhere because they're afraid of everyone else. Because they know they have something good to bring to the table and they want to protect that. No matter if they think that 1 and 1 is 3 or 1 and 1 is 2. And also, if you think about it, 1 and 1 makes 3 because in quantum fields. because 1 and 1, and then the force field between them. So it's quantum fields. It's quantum mechanics basics. So just realize that there are people out there that care and really want to help you and really want to do really amazing things for you. Don't give up on yourself. Don't go along with a bandwagon. Don't believe in someone else because you think they know it, and when you figure out that they don't, you're left in the fucking dirt. Realize that. Don't put your life out there and don't put your life out there not expecting anything back, because there really is no such thing as a selfless act. You including yourself is the part that gives you joy, or it gives you some sort of takeaway from it. But understandably so, if you're gonna give your life up to people who just try to use you, then you're never gonna run into anything except depression. And if you're in a part of your life and those people aren't trying to use you, then you can rightfully so out-blame them or outdo something with them or out-story-tell them or anything like that. You'll realize that eventually they're nothing left but an empty shell. They're an empty shell of what they used to be because of the fact that they lived their life. They put in the eggs that they had all into the baskets that they had, and all of those baskets failed. So realize that you are your own one-person bomb squad. You can defuse situations just by staying home some nights. You don't have to go out. You don't have to do anything. You can call a friend and just chill and have a good time. A good friend that doesn't use you, or that doesn't hurt you, that doesn't try to make you look like you're an idiot in front of a court judge, or try to make you look like you're fucking crazy, when really you're just depressed because your girlfriend is cheating on you and you know it, but you don't have any proof. Just like I was. But realize that depression leads to something sometimes. Depression can lead to something. If it doesn't force you, you shouldn't be forced to be depressed. You shouldn't force yourself to be depressed at all. You should get out there and meet people, but do so on your own pace. Do so at your own time. And if people are just as weird as you, then that's good. If they're not, then who cares? It's fine. Find someone that is. Because it's complicated out there. But realize that if you touch the butt without consent, you die inside. If you touch the butt without consent, you die inside. Because you know you're doing something wrong. Sometimes you're elated at the thought of doing something wrong. But then you're giving yourself away to that little action, to seeing that action happen more often. And it could go as far as stalking someone down and literally trying to rip their clothes off. But understandably so. If a woman who was beautiful did that to me, I would question her. No doubt. I would question her. I wouldn't, because being that way, being that thing, means you're depressed. It means you're desperate. It means you're out there looking for something constantly, and if you don't find it, you're gonna hurt yourself or someone else. Realize that if it leads to that kind of pathway in your mind, it seems funny before you do it, but after, you can never take it back. And realize that, because I had a situation where a girl remained a friend and not a lover. And I did that because I had values. And my mom used to beat the shit out of me when I used to say curse words. So, realize she didn't beat the shit out of me. She just grabbed me by the underarm, the little pinch by the underarm right there. And she said, "Wait till we get home." And I would go to my room and clean it. And then she would make me sit there for an hour, I guess, or more, pretty much more, the whole day usually, and I would sit in my room until it was dinner time. And she would never send me to bed without any food, though, because that's stupid. If you ever send your kids to bed without food, you're fucking retarded, because you're starving your children. Don't starve your children. They need food. And even if you spank them, don't spank them all the time, because then they won't know what's what. You spank them once, and then you tell them what they did wrong. I would spank children, but I don't spank them all the time. I spank them one time, and I'm like, you should be working together. You two should be putting aside your differences and working together in this hard time to be able to have each other as brother and sister, or as brother in anything, or as brother and brother, or brother in whatever. I don't spank every child, because I only spank children which I have the permission to spank. So that's what I did. But I digress. Being yourself is hard. It's very hard. It's very, very hard at first, especially if you haven't been doing it for a while. Being yourself is hard, especially if you don't know who you are, especially if you don't know what you like, especially if you don't know exactly what you mean. Sometimes you just talk and talk and talk. But hey, be yourself, and I'm gonna go do an explosion. Skating.
Citizens report an attack on a vehicle on Strawberry Avenue.
There we go. There we go. Bang.
Suspect last seen on Strawberry
So long it
Avenue.
can last. Let's see if we can get this down here. We got it. Let's see if he's gonna get of it. Got that cover. Give me that car. Give me that car. Yeah. We're getting away from this one. Good job. Got a freaking Prius in this mofo, boy. I want a hybrid, man. So bad.
A 996
52 miles per gallon.
Strawberry Avenue.
Are you serious?
Textile City.
With what it is at 199? Oh my god, man. Saving those resources, bro. Jeez. Saving them resources. That's what I'm doing, man. Making sure that gasoline can cost the lowest price imaginable. Cost like 50 cents a gallon again. And then it wouldn't even be all the time. They have like freaking electric chargers and stuff like that for cars that need electric charging. And all they have to do is just freaking like, oh my god, for 2 minutes, 2-minute charge. It's like, it could be like $5 even. And then, oh my goodness gracious, man, she could be so cheap. What the hell does anybody want to make so much money for? Why don't you just make goods and services cheaper? Oh, it's craziness. Madness, I tell you. Madness. But then people do this because they wanted to control our economy. A whole bunch of other countries got together and wanted to control our economy, telling us what to think. Man, I'm gonna fucking shit. Boom. Back in the car. Let's do this. God dang it. Have a good day. You are your own bomb squad. You can defuse situations that happen, and you can be yourself if you try hard enough. Be yourself, and if you're just getting out of whatever you're getting out of, realize that the more you look inward towards something, the more you see your anger and get sad. The more you look outward and blame, the more you look inward and get happy. It's only because of perspective. It's only because of things that are out there that people use to be able to define themselves all the time that makes you you. So whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, wherever you are in life, realize that there's always a better place, and it's being happy with yourself. Realizing that it's not always your fault. It's not always your fault at all. Realize that. And I have to tell myself that every day. So that's how I got from hating everyone to actually being a part of society. And then kind of being, insecure every once in a while, and kind of just going to take a nap in a car instead of drinking all night and hanging with my friends or doing art and constantly thinking about stuff. Realize that you're your own best friend. And you can fix the situations in your life. Sometimes all you need is the right advice. And every once in a while you come across people that are just keepers. So just realize that you'll find people out there that are definite, like, mainstays of what you really want for yourself in your life. And never let go of those people once you find them, because it'll always be a reward hanging out with them. And once you realize that there's someone out there that really does love you, life doesn't seem that bad. It's just eternity. Have a good day.